addicted to that song. It's so good. Hi, I'm Christina V. And we're going to start the next match pretty soon here. But I have a phone, and it's connected to the internet, and it has Twitter. So if you want to follow me at Christina V, you can send me some questions, and I will answer them for you next time. Sound good? Oh, Matt on Twitter, hello. He told me to say hi. I'm fulfilling a request. Ribbon might come later. I can't do it every time because then, yeah. Okay, I'll do a ribbon line. Let's see. Well, I need a line read to me. Somebody give me a line in the audience. Demacia! That's not ribbon, that's Lux. Anyways, it's time for round 2. Are you guys ready? All right. Curse versus Mono. Handing it over to you guys. Hat Person and Red Baron, you guys are amazing.
Thank you, Christina. And we got a little back in effect. I'm Hat Person. With me is the Red Baron going into game number 2, Mono versus Curse, and we're already in picks and bans straight away. And you know what we do? Like I said, we have Curse here. We got to give a shout out to lolpro.com. Wonderful resource, wonderful site. If you want some good guides, fantastic place to go.
Yeah, it's definitely a really strong showing from Curse, and you know that's what their website's all about. It's from the Curse team, having lolpro.com for those guides. But right off the bat, we see Galio, Karthus, and Alistar banned from Mono. Galio definitely a dominant kind of force in that last game. You have the Cog pairing. Mono actually with the first pick this game, so that OP Cog, it's won like 90% of the matches this tournament so far. They can take that off the board if they so choose, and there it is, Kog'Maw first pick. In the meantime, Curse banning out Cassiopeia, Olaf, and Rise. Olaf, a favorite of Nintendo, and Cassiopeia, one of Paradoxical's strongest champions. So, getting that out of the way.
Now we see the bans coming in from Mono. You have to know, last game they banned Alistar, Morgana, and Shen. Shen's open, Morgana's open. We may see Curse pick up either one of those. We got the Morgana, immediate, and Shen. I was going to take both of them. Dang.
Yeah, so Morgana's definitely going to give them some great fight control. Nijaki, one of the strongest mid carries in the game. Shen could go for either, Pobelter or Crumbs. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they send him top or in the jungle. I'm assuming it's going to be a top lane Shen, but there's definitely a lot of champions that do very well against Shen now with the nerfs to his Q. And we actually see Paradoxical picking up Ahri. That's one of his strongest champions. We've seen a lot of Ahri from Paradoxical in the past, and he's a very aggressive player, so he can pick up some early kills, has that killing potential very early on.
Now Morgana does have the spell shield. Gonna be a little bit step up above the charm, but you know what? We have the orb. That does true damage. That shield, not too good against true damage. Actually doesn't do anything for true damage.
There's actually the thing, they can kind of hold off on that Ahri, save for a later pick if they don't know what if Curse is doing, whether or not they're going a squishy team, if they have a squishy bot lane, if they have a lane that's very vulnerable to ganks, or if they have a vulnerable jungler, then maybe we go back to that Ahri pick. But right now, Vlad, a little bit of the safer pick, is going to be very strong in that top lane against Shen, can just sit there, turn that into a farm lane, and just be generally pretty safe. So that's definitely a good pickup.
So we also have the same bans. I just want to note, same bans from Curse this game as we had last game. So Cassiopeia, not going to be available. Olaf, we're not going to see that in top lane either. But we have a few more options from Curse. I'm kind of crossing my fingers for something a little bit different from them.
There you go.
We have Nocturne.
Chrome is actually a favorite of his, is Nocturne, so they get that Nocturne pick. We actually saw Curse playing Kayle and Nunu previously in this tournament, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not they pull that back out again. It actually will be kind of an effective strategy against Kog'Maw because Kayle definitely has the strong harass early. It's not something you normally see. It's kind of a niche pick But we'll have to see whether that's the case. It will protect against Ari's burst damage as well as Vlad's, though, if that's something they're looking to do. But Crumb's definitely extremely aggressive with those ganks. We do see Paradoxal is going to be grabbing that Ari again, and it's all down to who they want as their jungler. Right now, Mundo is available, Shyvana's available. I would definitely understand a Mundo pick, and there it is. Nintendude on Mundo will have that tanky front line, Vladimir and Mundo to protect Kog'Maw.
So for some people out there who may not even do draft mode even, why did they decide to take Ari later as opposed to that second round of picks?
Well, it's kind of weird to take Ari at all with how tanky their team is, but the concern is really seeing whether or not they're going to counter you out. If you have a jungler, which, someone like Maokai could set up the snare into the Morgana snare, and that's a really easy kill early on and just really shuts down Ari in lane before Ari gets to level 6. And Ari really needs to get those early levels in order to get an advantage. And also, if you consider if Curse has a really strong jungler where Curse automatically has early map control, that's also a weak situation for Ari. We're seeing a little bit of that now, but having the Mundo versus the Nocturne, it is kind of a favorable matchup. Nocturne is a stronger jungler as far as ganking presence, but Mundo definitely is tankier earlier, has the faster clearing speed, has the more counter jungling potential, and so if Mundo can take that early advantage, it allows Ari to roam, because that's what Ari wants to do as a champion. She wants to just be all over the place, taking names, just, destroying the enemy team, and that's what they're going to be looking to do. But we are seeing I'm like sitting here, a double lift in Vayne. It's just like synonymous in my mind. We're seeing Vayne bottom, so Vayne and Nunu is going to be an interesting matchup. Kog'Maw as a champion, he's an auto attack champion. He has fantastic damage early, but Nunu, he's got a very low cooldown slow. It's about a 6-second cooldown. It has a 4-second slow, so that's an attack speed slow. It's really going to shut down a lot of Nunu's damage. It's actually a really strong pickup because Nunu's not going to be as effective in those exchanges, whereas Vayne can just sit there, throw off the burst damage, really quickly burst down Janna's shield. And that's the key. Against Janna, you want to burst down the shield, deny that AD, and that's what Vayne and Nunu is going to do in that lane.
And I can see Vayne being pretty effective in the early game. She does have the tumble. She can get in on Kog'Maw, but once Kog'Maw hits 6, once he gets that artillery shot, I think we're going to see Curse maybe back off a little bit. They become a little bit less effective because Vayne, she doesn't have the biggest range. Granted, she can close gaps, but her just flat-out auto-attack range, not the greatest.
Yeah, that's definitely the weakness, and that's also kind of why we've seen Kog doing so well. He's always been one of the strongest late-game champions, but it used to be that his early weakness would sometimes set him behind. That's not as much of a case anymore. You don't see those really aggressive harass lanes that you used to. Kog'Maw can't, he can sit there and freely farm once he hits 6 in particular because he has that excellent range. And then, being able to farm Kog'Maw for that mid-game, for that late-game fight is really just effective. So it'll be interesting to see. Nocturne, though, has great kill potential. We have Vayne for the burst damage, Nocturne with his ganking kill potential, and then once Nocturne and Shen hit 6, there's always the threat of a tower dive bottom because we'll have Nocturne coming in, Shen with the ultimate. That's going to be a really dangerous lane for Zig and Pixel in the bottom lane.
We've got a lot of mobility here on Curse. So like you said before, we have Shen being able to go anywhere he wants with his ultimate. Nocturne got wonderful mobility as well, and we're also playing a little bit defensive here. If Curse gets engaged upon, Morgana just pop the ult. Nice counter initiation. We also got a nice counter initiation from Nunu as well. You just stand in the bush, get that ult ready. Everyone's slowed. Pretty good chunk of damage there too.
Yeah, but the concern is obviously, with that burst potential that we have from Curse, there's also at the same time a really strong team comp from Mono, and they recognize, hey, we get this Kog into this late game, he's a dominant force. We have Mundo up front. We have tank Vladimir, so that's also going to have more sustained damage, but then we have Ari to get us through the early portion of the game. We have Mundo to get us through the early portion of the game, and because of Vayne's range, because Vayne has such a short range, Ari as that kind of assassin mid-champion could maybe in those early fights pick off Vayne and then really quickly Curses behind, but it should be an interesting matchup, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
We're about to see how this rolls out, but everyone, are you ready? Game number 2. Mono versus Curse. Loading up right now. We got our teams. Look at that. Concentration coming in from both teams. Fantastic to have all 8 of our teams here. Wonderful that they can join us here at IPL4 at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. And very soon we will be into this game. Once again, the bans from both teams. Mono's banned out Galio, Karthus, and Alistar. Curse, same bans as last time, banning out Cassiopeia, Olaf, and Rise, and we are in the game, ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm curious whether or not we'll see Curse with the early invade. They do have a slightly stronger team. Both teams have an exceedingly strong early game, but if we can get the Morgana snare into the Shen taunt, there's definitely the potential for the kill there, and if you can slow down Mundo, allow Crumbs to get off to an early advantage, then that won't be such an issue. But at the same time, Pixel does have Clairvoyance. Wards don't really counter out Nocturne as effectively as other champions because he can take unusual ganking paths. So that Clairvoyance, if they can keep track of Nocturne, Mundo can be more effective with his counter jungle, and then also they can know that they're a little bit safer in that bot lane.
So we got a little bit of a defense here in the top Tribush from Curse. Mono not really doing that much. Both teams are playing a little bit on the defensive end, want to be able to secure their own buffs. And it looks like both junglers are going to be starting on red.
30 seconds.
Of course, they both junglers can also get Mondo's a little bit of a stronger level 2, I think.
I honestly, this is such an awkward thing. I literally couldn't hear what you just said.
Uh-oh. I think Mundo has a little bit of an advantage for a level 2 gank.
Well, actually, Nocturne, definitely has that kill potential. Mundo has a little bit more damage, but Nocturne has that closing speed, has the fear, and so I don't know that we're going to see a level 2 gank from either of these junglers. I think, all of the lanes are generally going to be pretty safe. I think we might see Crumbs, if he gets that red buff, going for the top gank onto Zion Spartan, get Vladimir before he gets that pull, because it's pretty common to go with Transfuse first, and if he can get a gank coupled with the taunt from Shen, then you get the fear off. That's a really aggressive gank. But regardless, we are seeing both junglers are going after their red. It'll be interesting to watch. I mean, I think we'll see an early ward from Curse down in the river to guard against that Mundo gank. That's definitely something they're going to want to do. But even if Mundo comes in, I don't know that at level 2 there's that much kill potential from Mono's bot lane.
Cop and Elements in bot lane before Mono. They're going to go ahead and get one or two creeps advantage early on. Shen and Vladimir up top lane doing what they can, and we got wards. Both teams have warded the Tri-Brush area up there down by Dragon, down that bot river. Ahri, Morgana in mid. True damage is going to be helping out immensely for Ahri later on once Morgana gets that shield around level 2, level 3. However Nijaki wants to play her. And Crumbs getting the raise, Mundo getting the blue. Mundo's a little bit low, going for that blue buff, so he will have to back and hopefully doesn't die right there.
But so here's the thing, Mundo's exceedingly fast, gets a little bit low early, really not a concern as he continues to jungle, but Nocturne, I think being a little bit cautious, he maybe could have gotten that top gank, but there's always the concern of how successful it'll be, and if they know that Mundo, is expecting that, if Mundo comes in for the counter gank, then very quickly Curse falls behind. That's definitely not what they want to do, because they want to get to that mid portion of the game where all of their ultimates are going to be up, where they have that strength. They don't want to allow Mono any sort of early advantage that is going to allow them to stall the game any more than they would care to.
Elements taking a little bit of a field trip, getting a ward right up in Mono's jungle just to see where they're going, but Mono did spot it, so they do know they're being watched. Mundo grabbing small golems, and he will have to back again because he's not doing so hot on health going through the jungle, but this will soon change, and Pobelter actually getting pretty chunked out in top lane by Zion Spartan. Now, Curse is actually being pretty aggressive in bot, pushing the waves to the tower. They want to make sure Mono in bot is on the defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, that will slow down the farm for Zig a little bit, but at the same time, he has enough damage output. It really shouldn't be that difficult to farm underneath, but we do have Crumbs coming up top. Pobelter with the taunt, and Crumbs is going to be able to get in range for the fear. The pull will get him out of there, but there's the fear. They're actually tower diving this, so Crumbs gets the red buff. There's the ignite, and they are going to get the first blood going down to Pobelter, so an early advantage for Curse.
Very, very well executed from Crumbs, but here comes Nintendo. Will he be able to connect with anything? We have a cleaver, we have something. We got the exhaust coming down on Crumbs. We got the fire, we got the AoE. Will be enough. Where's what?
Oh my God.
Spell shield. Oh
no! He missed the cleave. He
missed
got too
again.
close range.
Oh, that could have been so much more.
Crumbs with the fantastic play there, knew he was dead if he tried to run. It sets up the really easy short-range cleave, so instead, Crumbs juked back into Mundo, knowing that Mundo, is going to be tossing that cleave and just able to juke it out. Really fantastic play there. And it's a shame. I mean, if Nintendo had been able to get that, having an early advantage as a jungler is just, can be devastating, particularly when you have such an aggressive jungler as Mundo. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for Mundo to get an advantage, but really effective play by Crumbs.
Now that Curse knows that Mundo is in the top lane, once again, it's still pushing a bot as much as they can. And you know what, Nijacki's doing a little bit of pushing himself, but Mono trying to do what they can top lane, see if they can't take a little bit of damage off of this tower. Nintendo, once again, waiting in the bush, see if, just to see if Pobelter gets a little bit overzealous, get a nice little quick gank off in top of lane. A little bit of deja vu there.
Yeah, but actually, Pobelter coming down to ward here, he will be kind of vulnerable coming up once again, but he does have the dash, so he should be able to get out of there. But actually dashing into Zion Spartan, so a little bit of a bait, and Nintendo is chasing him down now. He's going to be able to get a lot of damage, but they are going to back off. Zion Spartan didn't have his Ignite up, otherwise maybe they would have power dove that. So Pobelter is going to be safe in this lane, going to be able to heal himself back up and be able to continue.
So now Nintendo satisfied with what he's done top lane, he'll be returning to the jungle. Zion Spartan also just a little bit just as low as Pobelter is, and Nijacki actually going in the mid with the ult on Paradoxical, tries to get away. Oh, the binding, just barely missing under tower.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting to get the stun because he actually had the kill if he had just waited a second for that stun. But in the meantime, Crumbs coming up top. There's another Shen taunt. Zion Spartan ghosting, trying to get out of there. He's going to be able to pull, but Crumbs with the fear. Can it break? It will just barely break underneath that tower. So Zion Spartan will be safe and going to recall.
Crumbs, he's getting some good engages on here, waiting for the pull to end, getting the fear if he can. But you know what? Zion Spartan, I think, is he did burn the ghost on that, trying to get away. So now he has no more summoner spells left for the time being, and Nintendo actually wandering around the ward in that tri-bush. Curse knows they know to back off accordingly. And meanwhile, Paradoxical is actually doing a nice little push in mid, waiting for Nijacki to actually get back into lane. A little bit, how are we doing on gold here? Already doing pretty good for herself. A little bit more, we could get a new large rod if we so desire, but to see how that build works out.
Yeah, and it should be interesting to see whether or not we see any aggression over these blue buffs. Ahri definitely needs it. If Ahri gets the blue buff and Morgana doesn't, then of course she can just push into the lane, not worry about it. Though Morgana is one of the strongest pushers in the game, has 3 Dorans, so should be okay as far as sustainability there. I think that a lot of that has to deal with the fact that she expects him to be extremely aggressive early. Maybe you see a little bit of invade after that blue, but Nintendo kind of running around, not really sure what to do. Will be able to pick up his red. And then we'll see what kind of ganks or invasion we'll see coming shortly.
So Ahri did decide to go back, got 3 Dorans as well. So we got a little nice even build, same item build going on in the mid, and we actually had a whole lot of pings going on around Dragon area. Mono does have a ward in the pit. We had a few pings going down from Curse as well. They saw Mundo coming down through the tri-bush. I think they also spotted him around the Wraiths as well. But now I think Dragon, being somewhat considered, they have the ward down there. They just want to make sure they have that insurance and want to make sure.
But Morgana actually coming in on the Paradoxical, gets the stun, and Paradoxical just barely able to get out of there. The Ignite goes off, but Paradoxical kiting around, able to take down Nijacki, even though it looked like Nijacki had the kill. Fantastic play there.
Wonderful, wonderful work from Paradoxical. Then we'll be going home with a little bit extra money in the wallet. But still though, this entire game though so far, Curse has been just doing nothing but pushing this bottom lane this entire time. They're sufficiently warded, they're sufficiently protected, ward in the tri-bush right there to know when Mundo's coming around. There's not a whole lot they're doing about it. And Zion Spartan having to run away from Shen, and more pings going down from Curse in bot river. So I think that may be a signal for some wards to possibly go down, just so if Mono decides to get a little bit gutsy, go for the dragon. They know where to be. Pobelter farming just a little bit, waiting for Vlad to come back, and Curse elements on top, doing nothing but pushing the tower.
Yeah, and that push is denying Zig some farm. He is significantly behind Top at this point. Top, if he can get that farm, Bane is, obviously one of the highest game stealers in that mid game. Comparable damage to Kog'Maw. The only thing is Kog'Maw has a significant range damage. And we actually have Nocturne ulting in mid. Morgana did drop the ultimate, and the fear goes off. So there's the snare, and Paradoxical is going to go down. a nice gank by Crumbs, and they're actually going to be grouping for Dragon now to try and take that early gold advantage.
Here we are. Well, you got the mid dead. You have the man advantage. You might as well. Dragon's here. Dragon's close by. You got 4 people around. You might as well just go ahead and do it. And if need be, Shen does have the ult up top, so you can just come back around if Mono decides to engage on this. They'll go ahead and secure the Dragon for themselves and then back off, go back to their respective lanes. But yeah, look at Zion Spartan in the top lane. He's losing quite a bit of health to Pro Belter here in the top lane. He's got his revolver. Should be getting the Rhoda once he has the money. Not all too close just about yet. But until he gets that Rhoda, I mean, he does have some sustain, but Shen's just out, just doing better than he can sustain.
Yeah, and the big thing is, actually, we see Nijacki almost getting caught, catching Nintendo there. I was wondering, Nintendo was stealing those rays, whether or not he would throw off the snare. But the big thing is, Shen, once he gets that early advantage, he can become kind of an abusive lane because he has that sustain. You're right, once Vladimir is able to get that Woda, it should, turn around and should just continue to be a farming lane. But Vladimir definitely a little bit behind right now, which is going to set them back a little bit in these mid-game fights. But if Vayne can get farmed for Curse, having that Blood Boil from Nunu is definitely going to be huge. That it's just a massive buff, just going to be significantly increasing Vayne's damage output.
Paradoxical putting down a ward in the river, but Nijacki's being a little bit aggressive, taking what he can from the Rays. But new support, pretty much all really new support does is stays in the bush, Blood Boil, and a snowball here and there if need be. Zion Spartan, Pro Belter duking out top lane once again. Nijacki Paradox, a little bit of harassed damage in the mid, and ult going down on Pro Belter, trying to keep him away. Still even health from both of those champs, but Pro Belter deciding to retreat back to tower, may decide to back.
Yeah, and Paradoxical, it's to that point where Ari is extremely strong, looking for those roaming kills, going to be leaving mid a little bit, so it's going to allow Nijacki to deny some experience and gold there, because they just have excellent ward coverage. They recognize that Ari is looking to be getting off some ganks, so they have wards all along the river. Shen can still be aggressive in that top lane and, recognize that he has the advantage.
Dude helping Paradox a little bit in the mid, but we actually see Crumbs going down through the enemy jungle.
But at top, we actually have Pro Belter chasing down Zion Spartan. He does have his Ignite, but he's not going to go for it. He maybe could have ghosted in, get that taunt, get the Ignite, very quickly pick up a kill.
Not sure if Zion Spartan should be sticking around.
Mundo actually coming into Crumbs. We do have the fear going off, and he's chasing after Nintendo a little bit. The exhaust from Nintendo goes off, and his ultimate is there, so he's just a little bit too tanky. And once again, Pro Belter jumping in after Zion Spartan with the taunt. He does have the exhaust, and there it is. The Ignite able to take down Zion Spartan underneath that tower.
Nice. That's nice little tug of war going back there, just checking to see. That's this. Elements, what are you doing? Going back and forth through that bush. What are you doing?
I like hopping all over the map. I mean, there's action everywhere. Why aren't we? That's what you want, and so that's what we're seeing in an aggressive game. Zig doing a pretty good job farming bottom, but we do have a slight advantage for Cop in that lane. And I don't know. It should be interesting when this next dragon spawns. Who has the advantage at that point? We definitely have strong team fight teams from both teams.
So Cop 129, Kog'Maw 108. Mid
the snare.
Nice snare from Nijacki. Go down. Ult should be able to finish off. Actually manages to break it, but will the Ignite finish her off? Yes.
Wow, so just sitting in the brush, waiting for the time. Nijacki with the excellent placement there. Once Paradoxical had cleared those wards, and so Nijacki getting a little bit of a farm advantage, able to go steal some wraiths earlier. Here, going to deny some experience, get some push going on in that tower, and if they can, get an early advantage like they have right now, a 3K gold advantage, and then push down some of those towers, they could maybe deny some golden experience from Mono.
Like, just look at the farm difference right here in all 3 lanes. All around, you got Pixel. Just putting the tornado on elements just to annoy him just a tad. But bot lane, 138 to 117. Mid lane, you got 118 to 96. Top lane, look at Shen, 93 to 77. This Curse is just winning every single lane right now. There's not a whole lot you can do when you're losing every single lane. It's kind of a little bit confusing for where Nintendo should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. They don't, we have very safe lanes from all of Curse, so there's not going to be a huge ganking presence from Mundo. He recognizes, Morgana is going to be an extremely safe lane. If not, maybe when they bait out the Nijaki ultimate, like we saw earlier, we'll see some aggression, some counter engaging there, but in the meantime, Paradoxical is going to be able to pick up that blue buff and going to, maybe see if he can run around and pick up some kills.
Top trying to get a few shots off on Zig while retreating the tower, but got the artillery shot, going to be able to fend off just a little bit, but it looks like Mono just like, we're just going to keep pushing to our tower. We might as well go ahead and get the small golems while we wait. This is a nice little snack while we're doing that, but Nintendo actually coming around. No vision from Curse. They don't know he's in the neighborhood. Pillbuster, if he extends a little bit too far, he's going to have a rude surprise. We got the taunt going coming in, as well as the knocking roll here on Zion Spartan. Nintendo comes in, not sure how much he's going to be able to do. The ult from Light will finish. Crumbs going down, Pillbuster both going down. That is exactly what Mono needed.
And that's what we've seen from Nintendo this entire tournament. He's got great awareness where he needs to be as a jungler. He's caught a ton of counter ganks this entire time. He recognizes Shen's trying to be extremely aggressive, shut down Vladimir in lane. So Crumbs, he knows he's going to have that aggressive ult, sitting around waiting for his opportunity, able to take it, and that's definitely going to propel Zion Spartan into this mid-game. And it should be interesting to see, whether or not we see some more aggression. Shen generally very safe, but if we see Paradoxical and Mundo going up together, they could definitely take that tower, maybe be able to pick up a kill there.
So we got a little bit, of gold going around. You see what all of our champs are buying. We got the Loda finishing for Vladimir right now. Finishing off, so got some Merc treads as well. A little extra magic resist. A little bit of tenacity, won't be taunted for as long from this point forward, but we do have Dragon. Curse is there, ready to take it. And we got pings going down from Mono, not too far away. Pretty sure they have an A, but they do have vision. They got CP down.
It's just too tough for them to deny that Dragon. They have great ward coverage on Curse. We actually saw Pixel just dropping a pink ward there, but Elements had a pink ward in that brush previously, and Elements, as a support, you can kind of always ask me, hey, a lot of times supports, they go for that early oracles, roaming around trying to get vision. Elements is actually very proactive in getting those pink wards. He's always kind of vocal about it. Pink wards are just such a great investment if you understand where the enemy's wards are, and so able to take that map control is definitely huge. But we'll have to see. We do have Nijaki building that needlessly large rod, probably going to build a early Zonias so that he can engage on Kog'Maw. And if they can get Kog'Maw in those team fights, have the flash in from Nijaki, then very quickly this fight can turn in their favor.
We've been seeing a lot of Morganas actually opting for things like early death caps instead of going for the Zonias. And the Zonias is just such a wonderful part of her kit if you have it. Just go in, ult Zonias, and it's almost always the same ult. Almost.
Yeah, and the key is whether or not you think you already have the damage as a team. They have a significant amount of damage, but we do have Nocturne coming up top. Nintendo once again waiting, allowing Zion Spartan to just safely take this tower in case there's a gank. So a little bit of time wasted for Nintendo, but he knew what he was doing. He was sitting there protecting his carry. So Morgana, a lot of AP champions, they have that versatility. Morgana, if she wants a little bit of burst, if she needs a little bit more poke, then obviously she can go for something like a Rabadon's. But if she wants to have a hard engage, like she will against a champion like Kog'Maw, it's very common to go after that Zonias.
So about 18 minutes in, and like we said before, Curse is just doing fantastic in pretty much every lane, despite the fact they do have one tower down in top. If you look at the creep kills, it is a little bit of a different story. I mean, Vayne still has a little bit of a lead on Kog'Maw. We got Vladimir, still only 10 behind now, as opposed to Shen. And if you look at Ari in the middle with Morgana, that's a pretty big stun for Morgana right there, but Morgana in mid, 30 creeps up, and we got Nocturne coming in with the ult here on bot lane. We got the Janna ult clearing everyone away, so Mono may be safe here. We actually had Shen ult Crumbs just for a little bit of insurance. But while he's down there, Zion Spartan is top lane free to farm.
And once again, that's just Nintendo with excellent map positioning, excellent awareness. They had the Shen Nocturne combo, and they were trying to go for an aggressive tower dive. That's what we were kind of talking about earlier. So Nintendo recognizing that was the situation, and it will allow Zion Spartan once again to continue farming, continue catching up into this game, and pressure that second tower.
So realizing you got a little bit of a good idea. It's like Shen's about to recall. Should probably be backing off right about now. But we're pushing it to the second tier tower in top lane. Cop trying to make something happen on Zig, but is slowed, will not be able to continue pursuit, and Crumbs securing the red buff for himself. That was Zion Spartan also doing a little bit of dance, waiting for Pobelter in that bush. A little bit of a bush dance there. And bot lane Mono, they see Curse is once again doing their pushing thing.
Yeah, and I'm curious, once we start seeing these team fights break out, once we start seeing everyone together, how Vayne is going to do against this double AP comp, because it's definitely pretty strong. We actually have Pobelter chasing down Zion Spartan in top lane. I'm not sure how full he's going to go for. He is going to back off now. Zion does have enough sustain there, but because, like we said earlier, we have a very short-range team. Everyone on the team is short-range, but I don't know, it'll be interesting. The Morgana shield should be able to protect Vayne for the most part, but there's definitely a lot of burst if she gets too much into that kill zone.
Now, we haven't really seen a whole lot of movement come from Morgana or Ahri, really. I mean, Ahri is actually pretty mobile with the ult. We would have expected to see maybe an attempted gank on one of the other two lanes, but Nightjack and Paradoxal usually sticking to their guns, sticking to the mid lane. Why is that?
Well, the big thing is both are extremely strong pushers. So Ahri wants to be leaving the lane, but Morgana is just constantly pushing the wave, forcing Paradoxical to sit there. And we do have the tower going down bottom, but their pings are off on Zion Spartan. So Janna and Ahri coming up here, trying to keep vision of Morgana, not allow her to kind of engage. And Zion Spartan will be fine there. But it's primarily because of the pushing capabilities. They know if they leave, they don't have a successful gank, they're going to be denied experience and gold, and they're going to threaten their tower going down.
Cop and Elements coming up into the mid. Tornado will keep them away. But we do have Crumbs here in top lane with Zion Spartan. And Nijaki still just sticking to his guns, staying in the mid. And it looks like Paradoxal will also be handed the blue from Nintendo. Going to be taking that back with him. Crumbs, Pobelter doing what they can up top lane. But now we're seeing Mono group up now, just a little bit. We're seeing both teams actually now grouping up a little bit. Pings going down on Baron area. So they got a little bit of vision on Curse, and Paradoxal actually getting caught in that little side bush there. But I think Mono might be gearing up to try and charge down this mid tower.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of looks like both teams are trying to pressure this tower. I think a lot of it's just defensive play. They want to be aware of where the enemy team does. So by everyone grouping mid, it forces the enemy to kind of show their hand. It doesn't allow them to kind of roam and pick up kills. And right now, Curse, they definitely are more of the aggressors. They want to pick up those early kills to try and catapult them through this mid game. So by Mono just coming down bot, coming in that mid lane, they force Curse to show themselves, and they know they're safe.
So we got Kog'Maw with Mundo here by the Baron area, getting some free shots, or attempting some free shots here on Shen. And we have Vlad, top lane, farming freely, but Curse is now taking the opportunity to push mid while they can. Cop is here with Elements and Nijaki, the Blood Boil, doing so many good things for Cop right about now.
Yeah, I think it's also going to be interesting. We do see Mono pressuring this Baron here, and that's kind of why Curse is also mid, because they recognize Mono is one of the most aggressive teams in League of Legends at taking that Baron, but they're definitely in position for Curse to engage. We actually have Paradoxical chasing down Nijaki here, not going to be able to get the charm, but Nijaki turning back into him, gets the ultimate off. There's the Shen ult, and Crumbs jumping onto Zion Spartan. Pixel very close to going down. Pobelter chasing away Zig, and so we do have Mundo going down to Vayne. Vayne definitely in a good position here. Zion Spartan is going to go down, and now Pobelter is down as well, but Elements able to get his full ultimate off onto Paradoxical, so there's another kill for them. And Cog never really able to get in that fight like he wanted to, never able to deal that damage that you expect from Cog.
So that's a 3 for 2. Pretty good for Curse. I mean, we got a Baron fight forced. Mono kind of got what they wanted, but realized they may have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew right there in the Baron area. And we've seen Mono do aggressive Baron play quite a bit, but the Elements will go ahead and clean up whatever wards may be remaining in Baron area.
And that's one of the strengths of Curse's team. They, recognize that Mono likes going for these extremely aggressive Barons, going for Baron when you're low health, going for Baron when you don't really have a huge advantage, and just a lot of teams, they kind of sit around a Baron, they clear a ward, and they're like, hey, we're just going to wait a second, so you don't need to jump on them. Mono is like, hey, we cleared a ward, let's do it, and they just jump in, go after that. So we have Crumbs on Nocturne, and we have Pobelter Shen, so those are two global kind of champions. They can split push and then know that they're going to be in range for that Baron, be able to engage. But right now, we do see Mono going after this dragon. Nocturne's the only one there, but they don't have vision, so they will be able to take it. And that's a nice little gold boost for Mono there.
The ward going down in that bush right as Nijeki enters with the shield. Ping's going down from Curse into the bot river, but they know Mono's grouping up. They got the oracles on Janna. We got an oracles on Nunu. So both teams trying to do what they can to reduce enemy vision. And you know what? Just a nice little note: if you're facing a team that has oracles, don't stop placing wards. You can still have a good idea where the enemy team is, even if they take out the ward that you just placed.
Yeah, and a lot of the times you can get wards that maybe bait in the enemy. You know if the ward's positioned closer to your side, you'll be fine. But we do have Curse very aggressively coming down this tower, very close to pushing it down. So we'll see whether or not Mono can solve that, whether or not Curse maybe tries to bait a fight around Baron. They do have the AoE to do it. Nunu does have an Oracle, so they can clear out those wards, force Mono to engage, and then get off the full Nunu ultimate into a Morgana ultimate, and that's just going to be huge for Curse.
Nintendude up around the Baron area, once again clearing out the vision of Curse. Pings going down from Mono. I think they're going to start making their movement up to the pit. Nintendude is there taking out the wards Crumbs has got, and Nijeki is out in front. I think you were looking for a binding. We're waiting for Mono to start up on the Baron. Shen, he is in top lane. He's not too far away. He can ult in whenever he needs to. Paradoxical, we got no stun from Nijeki, misses everyone. But now we got this minion wave pushing up in mid. We may see Mono doing something to the tower while we wait for engage on Baron.
I just love we have this slow build up here. Actually, Nijeki getting caught is actually going to jump into him, use his ultimate, going to throw off the Zonias, but is going to go down almost immediately after. Elements with the ultimate, Paradoxical skirting around the outside, and Cop chasing him down with that Vayne. Zion Spartan is going to go down. Paradoxical is going to go down as well. Cog was already bursted down, so a huge fight for Curse. And that's what this is, this excitement building up in the crowd. I've been listening to it, I'm like, what's this earthquake, this thunderous sound? We have those AMD, like slammers. I don't even know what they're called, but just building up that drum roll for the fight, for Curse, for the fight, able to take down this Baron now, and that's a huge advantage for Curse.
4 members of Curse still up, and they can go ahead and take this Baron for free pretty convincingly. And we got some turrets going down in the meantime as well. There's not a whole lot Nintendo can do about this other than a quick smite steal, which he's not even going to bother, and Curse has secured the Baron for themselves.
And so the Baron, and we are continuing with this game. Curse is definitely at a huge advantage right now. They can get into the Cog, and that's the big thing, whether or not you can get into him. Element's just free to get off an entire ultimate, protect his team. They're able to zone Paradoxical and Cog off the fight, so without that damage output, they just can't, deal the damage they need. They can't get into Vayne. Even though Vayne is short range, Vayne has enough survivability with the dive, with the condemn, that there's, Mono, they're not getting the hard engages on the Vayne that they need, and Cop is just clearing up these fights.
So now we have Baron buff on Curse, and they can just go ahead and once again, just like game 1, we can get the nice slow push into the base.
But Pobelter
on
Paradoxical.
Paradoxical is trying to get a counter engage, and Pobelter is maybe regretting that decision just a little bit. We have the rest of Mono chasing, but they will decide to back off now that Nijeki is here. Vladimir is off, taking blue, so he's going to be giving that to Ari just so they have that right now. They need that right now because it looks like Curse is going to start pushing once again any minute. They're clearing the wave, letting mid push on its own. They're going to go ahead, regroup, take another objective. Top tower is looking pretty juicy. They might be going for that next.
Now here's the concern, and we kind of saw this with CLG earlier, but Curse, they have a short-range team. That makes it tough to push down towers, whereas we've got lots of clearing potential from Mono. However, by the same merit, Curse has these split pushes. They have Shen, they have Nocturne, so they can sit there, split push these other lanes. Paradoxical actually getting snared by Morgana there, but they don't have to all come down mid. They can send Cop Morgana mid, they know they're safe, but in the meantime, Shen can push top, Nocturne can push bottom, and you see that's a huge wave down there. He's going to get some significant damage on the tower, maybe pull Mono out of position where Curse can get that effective engage that they want, pick off those champions and get some kills.
There's not a whole lot Mono can do right now about this split push. There's quite a large healthy wave of minions here in the bot lane. We got 2 members of Curse in the mid, 3 members of Elements is here as well, and Pobelter, Zion Spartan continuing again their extended battle over across this entire match. We just need to wait for the mini waves. Cop can go and get a few shots on turret and just back off. They just do that 2-3 more times. That turret will fall. Crumbs just needs to wait for that wave. They'll be able to take that turret down. It's a war. I'm not sure how Mono's going to be able to defend this. We actually got the stun coming in on Paradoxical. We got a flash away from Elements. Cop trying to get some damage in. Paradoxical coming back in with the ult. Elements has no choice but to run away just to be sure that he will live through this fight. Cop, Curse, they're retreating from mid, and the rest of the team looks like they're going to be regrouping in just a moment.
Yeah, I almost thought that Mono could have pursued that fight. It looked like Curse was just going to burst down Paradoxical. That's what they were waiting for. They were waiting for the Morgana snare, just slowly pushing that tower and then pick someone off. But then Paradoxical turning it around, almost picking off Shen, almost picking off Morgana. Didn't want to run into the Morgana ultimate, considering that Shen's also going to have his ultimate, be able to cancel out that kill. So it would have been kind of interesting to see, but Paradoxical definitely doesn't want to be too aggressive, doesn't want to give up a quick kill, which would just kind of result in the game ending, as Curse, with that 4v5 advantage, would be able to barrel down mid, get an inhibitor, and then pressure the advantage from there.
I can understand why Mono decided to not engage on that, though, because Nocturne was bottom, ult is up, he's not too far away. If he needs to join the fight, he can just do so. Same thing for Shen. Mono knows that they have to be on the defensive end. You got 2 champs on Curse with global ults who can join the fight at any time, and Dragon will be going for free for Curse. It's a little bit more gold for them.
Yeah, and Crumb's going to be able to take down that Dragon. Again, the AMD, sponsorship here with those. I don't even know what they're called, but they're almost like the vuvuzelas
here.
That's what we need for next time. We need those horns going off. But
I mean, I have 2 AMD Thunder Sticks up here with me, but I'm not sure if I want to be clapping these things into the microphone. We might break something.
Yeah, but there is significant damage and survivability from Mono. Now we have the double wheel. We got that. They actually rushed that earlier on. So the double wheel, couple that with double Rabadon. So they've got lots of AP burst damage. They have lots of sustainability. And then Mundo working on a late Warmogs, actually. So if he can finish that, have that tankiness where they can protect Cog. But that's the big thing, whether or not they can protect Cog. And so Janna gives them that, kind of survivability. But if Morgana, we have Nocturne can engage on Cog, and he's got his own shield. Morgana can engage on Cog. She's got her Zonias. She can also throw the shield onto Cop. And so Zig, not really comfortable this match. He can't really get the damage that he wants. And so we actually see Crumbs starting to pressure this mid. Maybe we'll have an engage shortly underneath this tower.
Curse still, once again, we're trying that push, but actually Crumbs is not too far away. Pixel puts the CV down. They see him in their own jungle, screwing around. Stun. We got Paradoxical. We got them in the binding. We got the shield from Jacket, but they will decide to back up a little bit. But you know what? Crumbs is not too far away. If Mono decides to push this, we could have everyone from Curse there in an instant. But meanwhile, we got Pobelter pushing to shove in top tower, tier 2. If Mono, Baron buff is gone, but you know what, this split push is still really effective for Curse right now because there's not a whole lot Mono can do to defend against this.
Yeah, but at the same time, they have been doing a good job of stalling Curse. Curse been trying to pressure this tower, but not really able to get it. And actually, we see Cop jumping on this tower, is going to be able to drop it. So there's the tower, and Nintendo getting some plays on the Crumbs over the wall, but a tower was successful with Curse. They did lose the Baron buff, though, so Zig actually chasing them down with that artillery barrage, getting some damage onto Morgana. And now Mono being the aggressors, now that they have that Baron, the Baron is down, they know that Zig has that range advantage.
That tower in the mid for Curse, one smack and it goes down, so Mono decided, you know what, we need to go mid, finish the job, and they're actually pinging around Baron area. I think they're going to see if they can't force a fight here once it comes up. Curse, we're a little bit scattered here, so they need to be a little bit careful, but Mono traveling as a group, they want to be very, very gingerly approaching it wherever they go because Curse can be there in a moment. Baron should be up pretty soon, and they're just waiting for that next big Baron fight, and we'll see who comes out on top. But in the meantime, we have Pobelter once again pushing top lane, see if we can get a big wave coming down to that tier 2 tower on top, which is half done with.
Honestly, I recognize that words are coming out of your mouth, but I could not begin to tell you what they are. I heard something about Pobelter, and you're right, that split push from Shen is definitely extremely aggressive. We do have Baron up, and Mono, they have a fast Baron team, but if they're in that little cubby hole, allowing that quick Morgana ult, it's just a great setup for Curse to just ace them and then push an inhibitor, win the game. Mono trying to bait him in, though. Nijaki coming in.
Nijaki going in, he's got the shield. The ultimate has been broken by Mono, but Curse, they're being aggressive. They're getting their Paradoxical coming back in. The ultimate trying to close the gap, but Night Jackie getting very low. Night Jackie goes down. Elements ult out of desperation. Vladimir goes down as well. Elements may not be able to get away. Ignite finishes him off. Mono now in full retreat. Curse trying to finish off what they can do. Nintendo does manage to live. Nintendo with a shred belt. We got yes, and that is the ace.
And now Curse knows exactly what they want to do. They want to come for this. Actually, they're going to back off and maybe go for the Baron. It's going to be tough. They, have plenty of damage, but Pobelter and Crumbs are both low. Really, they need to kind of just push, but they are pinging it, so we might see a very aggressive Baron for Curse. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do it, but you saw that last fight. It almost turned in Mono's favor. Zig was safe in that background, but, in the end, Cop, no damage on Cop, and so Cop was able to get in there, get those kills, and now we do see Curse is able to take down that Baron. They have enough survivability with Pobelter and Crumbs, so with that Baron, they're going to be extremely aggressive. The ace for Curse, and they can come down. I will just let you know, the players in chat are saying the clapping. They hear it. It's crazy. It is insane. And so, we'll see whether or not Curse can just continue to pressure this advantage all over Mono.
Big shout outs to Cop. Look at how well he's doing. 8-1-3. 346 creep kills. That is insane. How much total gold? 15K over the course of the game. That is a lot of money to have on a Vayne. He's just going to be doing so much damage right now. 359 AD.
Yeah, and so, like you said, he's got significant damage output, but you couple that with the the Nunu buff. He's got the Blood Boil when he's already got all this damage. Then you couple it with the shield from Morgana. He's got the shield. So this is a super support team for Cop, and it's that hyper carry kind of situation, a little bit shorter range than Kog'Maw, but still has that fantastic damage output, and they're able to protect Cop. It's going to be extremely difficult. I mean, honestly, at this point, it almost feels like Mono needs to pick someone off, and they are chasing down Pobelter. He's out of position. He does get off his dash, so he's going to be out of there. But that could have been a dangerous situation for Mono.
If Curse was not at base, they could have taken that opportunity to push down either of the other two available lanes, but they were not. They were back. They were shopping. And look at Cop right now. We got that Halo. He's got himself a Guardian Angel. He's not going anywhere. If he happens to die, he's going to be coming right back. And, I think it's about that time. Once you see a team like that building Guardian Angels on their main carries, that's a hard place to come back from. Mono is definitely on the ropes right now. Top tower going down.
Particularly against the double AP Cop. It does counter some of that burst, but actually Pobelter taking significant amount of damage from Zig, is going to be able to back out of there, has the Baron regen. But this is a situation where Curse could maybe continue with that split push, recognizing that they have that advantage now. They could also just kind of barrel down, tank the tower, know that they can drop it pretty quickly. Cop going to get some nice damage on here, and Nocturne is always in range. Actually, we have the Nocturne ultimate onto Zig. He's chasing him down. There is the fear, and Nintendo very close to going down as well. Zig is going to have to back out of there. Pixel with the ultimate. Night Jackie very close to going down, and Cop going to be able to pick up some kills, but here's the GA from Cop, and now Zion Spartan very close to going down, and Cop actually going to go down as well. Paradoxical able to kite out. How many kills can Paradoxical get? He gets down one, but Paradoxical goes down, and now Nintendo exchanging with Nocturne, and there it is, a 4 for 5 ace for Mono. Very close to picking that up, but will be able to stall out the game just a little bit shorter.
We have the thunder sticks, we have the yelling, we have the fog on stage. I have no idea what's going on anywhere. I am so confused right now. Okay.
But again, it's interesting. I almost thought that Curse was going to just destroy that fight. We saw Zig going down very quickly, but Paradoxical able to take down Cop even after the GA was gone. And so Mono with an effective turnaround, and now Nintendo is almost a little bit too tanky for them to deal with. Shen isn't the highest damage champion. It should be interesting to see. Nunu, doesn't really increase their damage a lot. He gives Vayne a ton of damage, but if they can get up in Vayne's face, have Nintendo's Muno just chasing Vayne down, has that exhaust, have Paradoxical chasing Vayne down, then very quickly these fights could turn for Curse. And I'm kind of curious whether Curse is maybe going to stall now, wait for Cop's GA to be up again, or if they think they can take him. I mean, that's got to be a demoralizing fight for Curse. They, almost had it. That could have been the game, and then just barely not able to get it. Fantastic play from both teams. So it'll be interesting to see whether we wait for that GA or just continue with the push.
Guardian Angel, you do get that extra life, but if you do use it, 5 minutes, you have to wait for it to come back up again. But you know what, 5 minutes? That's a long time in League of Legends. Right. That's a lot of time in League of Legends.
Yeah, and it will take a while. It will put, Cop a little bit out of commission for some time, but, Cop at the same time is very survivable. I think maybe a little bit too aggressive that last fight, but just really fantastic play from Mono. And Curse, Nijaki is coming down, going after this Dragon. While they kind of wait off for a second, they do have a 13k gold advantage, 14k with this Dragon, and yet at the same time, Mono was able to pick up the fight. It's just astounding, but we'll have to see whether they can pursue the blue. Paradoxical does have the fresh blue there, so in the future, whether we can take those reds from Zig, if we can take those blues from Mono, and Curse could continue with that pushing.
And even though Mono did win that big team fight, it was done in shreds. Mundo was barely hanging on after that team fight, and that was with Curse having Baron. So if they do decide to push in again without Baron, there will be a little bit more leeway for Mono to go ahead and take that fight. They do still have all of their inhibitor turrets up. We do got the second tier tower in bot still up, and it looks like Curse, they're just gonna go ahead and let Mono push, let them be aggressive. I think they're just gonna go ahead, opt to take a turn on defensive, but remember, Crumbs, he's here, he can ult in. We got Pobelter up top lane, he can ult in. So Mono has to be very careful where they pick their engages, when they pick their engages. We may see them wait till the next Baron, but we also remember they do have to make a move before that GA on Cop comes back up.
And the big thing is I think both teams are a little scared right now. The next fight could decide this game because we've got great pushing power from Vayne. He's got over 400 CS, so he's done his item build. He can just drop towers, have one of his teammates tank it for him. Kog'Maw the same exact way, only 300, but even so has significant damage output. Mundo could easily tank the turret, so the next fight could easily just take an inhibitor, maybe even win the game for a team.
Curse there just for a moment. They're like, let's just camp this bush. Let's just see if they come by. But we do have some pings going down from Mono. They have an idea where they are. They're just going to go ahead and shove top while they can. They did have a nice they did get a good chunk of damage on the bot tower, so top is definitely the lane to push at the moment. They are here and close proximity to Baron. So just going to go ahead and let the wave push. Pobelter going to be on his own, but Curse, look at this. We got a nice little ambush waiting, seeing if Mono takes the bait.
Yeah, and it's actually, right now, all the map control is on Curse's side. They have all this great ward coverage, and the place that they're standing, it's actually one of those nice little blind spots. You come up, if they think that they're kind of grouping around the blue, all of a sudden you have a good engage, and so we'll see whether Mono walks into it.
They are coming up. The bind again from Morgana.
From Nijaki.
Nijaki coming in, you get the Morgana ult, but some of it was a broken. Pixel will go down immediately. We got the Nuno ult slowing down Intendude X. We got the full proc off, and Intendude should be falling as well. Zion Spartan trying to stay alive. Bundo down, Nocturne down, Vlad is also down. Curse doing what they can to clean up. This might be it. Curse might just be able to push and win with this, but Paradoxical, he's not out of the fight yet. He's still in close proximity to Curse. He could go in, snipe Nijaki, but you know what? He's just going to go ahead and play it safe, recall back to base, but this tower should be going down pretty quick, possibly the inhibitor as well. Actually, they might just, if they get a little bit friskier, if they manage to get a kill on one of the two remaining members of Mono, they might be able to push for the win.
Yeah, and now
but Baron is up.
Here's the thing, Curse, they got the inhibitor. They can now recall, or they can go for the Baron. They will have plenty of time, actually, so they should, go for the Baron, I would think. They might just recall, though. And so the benefit of recalling, what Curse is trying to do here, they already have the inhibitor. They know that they don't want to be, stalled underneath the towers. We've seen Mono able to stall Curse underneath those towers when Curse is trying to push. So by going back, they can force a fight at Baron. But actually, we see Zig and Paradoxical going for Baron, just the two of them. They don't have anyone tanking, but Zig has plenty of damage. They're dropping it extremely quickly. I can't believe what I'm watching right now because Curse is definitely out of position. They have no idea what's going on. Janna coming up, and they're going to be able to take that Baron. So a huge Baron for Mono, but now we've got Shen and we've got Cop, and they're going to be able to get out of there. And there it is, the aggressive Baron play for Mono, and that was always a concern if Curse doesn't get back fast enough, but I don't think they expected that without any of their tanks, they would just go for it. And just, fantastic awareness by Mono, able to sneak that in there.
Wonderful, fantastic timing from Mono to know when to swoop in and grab the Baron, but unfortunately that's all that's really going to do for now is to stall the game out just a tad a little bit longer. Curse, they're going to have a bigger, rougher defense to try and break in order to get the remaining towers that they need. Inhibitor is down top lane, but Mono, they have the buff. Does every member have it? Every member was up. They're going to go ahead and take this opportunity, shove mid lane. What can they do with this Baron buff? We got the top lane. We got the super minions starting to push. If Mono's going to make a move and try and push mid tower, they need to do it soon.
I mean, there's definitely plenty of time for them to sit back. They know that they have a very strong tower pushing team, but at the same time, I don't know that they want to risk it. They know if they go out into the open field, that gives Curse the perfect engage opportunity. And if Mono loses one more fight, that's game over. Curse is just going to backdoor that Nexus, be able to take it down. So Mono wants to sit back, get a little bit more farm, push it further and further into that late game, recognizing how strong Vlad is, recognizing how strong Cog is. And here's the thing, Vayne, how much Vayne is farmed already? Vayne is done. Like
look at Vayne. Look at Vayne right now. Sold boots, second
right.
Phantom Dancer.
But Vayne's not getting any stronger at this point. Cog still can get stronger. Vladimir still can get stronger. So, you know, if they can continue to push, it moves more and more into their advantage. And, you know, Shen not going to be scaling as much as someone like Vladimir. So they're perfectly fine with stalling out this game with that surprise Baron.
It's just, we're entering super late game right now. We see, like I said, we've gotten to the point. Cop has sold boots to get another Phantom Dancer. 93% crit chance, 327 AD. Anytime Vayne hits you, it is going to hurt bad.
Yeah, Cop is the man right now, and he knows it. He's looking for a fight. He wants to take people down. We see Curse going for that dragon, but again, there's really not a need for it at this point. The dragon, you know, kind of becomes meaningless. But we see Nintendo and Pobelter squaring off. You know, for the most part, I think this game is probably going to stall until the next Baron, maybe, because Cop, they don't want to, you know, tower dive. They don't want to go against this Baron from Mono, and at the same time, Mono doesn't want to push, risk losing the game when Curse has such a strong advantage in these fights.
Mono, they really have no choice to defend. Like I said, Inhibitor is down, and while they did get the Baron, they can't do all too much with it. Anytime they go out from their own base, they risk getting caught out by Curse. And Curse, their entire team doesn't even need to be there. Nocturne Shen, not too far away, but we may see Curse trying again for another trap in a bush, another disastrous face check may decide the game if they decide to camp out some of these bushes here up by the Baron area once again. But Mono going ahead and continue to take their own advantage. Zig, he's a little bit caught out. We see Curse making their move. Will they be able to catch up? No, they're going to go ahead and back off. But you know what? Curse, they know Mono may be a little bit too aggressive. They know they're going to go searching for something. If they can catch them out in a bush again, possibly in the lower jungle this time, not necessarily around blue buff, because we still have a little while before Baron comes up. We got a few minutes. We got a while still.
Yeah, and Crumb's going to be able to take that red buff. That's going to deny some damage from Zig, so that's definitely going to be huge. Giving it to Vayne, so Vayne actually triple potted that nice little white goal, just double potted actually, but with the red buff, and they will be pushing down this bottom tower. Pobelter just going to tank it, and now with that split, they have the top inhibitor down. Curse knows, even against the Baron, Curse can be extremely aggressive, and the Baron is actually down now, so Curse, the Baron down, with that top inhibitor, they can split push Nocturne and continue to pressure this advantage.
Curse, once again, at Monozor, Baron buff is down. Cop can just go from a distance and pick anyone off, provided he's got the team support to back him up. We can get Pobelter on the front line, that'd be nice, but we'll get mid. We got Crumbs, mid tower all on his own. Nintendo is there to keep him off just a little bit. But once we see these waves coming down, but in the meantime, look, the inhibitor may be up, but we still have some super minions pushing here in the top lane. But Mono pinging down bot lane. I think they may try and make a move on the split push of Curse. Waiting for the minions to come up. We got the bind in on Pixels, quite a bit of damage.
And here's the thing, those super minions up top, we do have the inhibitor respawning for Mono, but they have to either defend it or lose it once again. So this is a perfect opportunity for Curse to continue stalling and just get a perfect engage on Mono. Mono's going to have to be pulled all over the place. We see Vladimir in that top lane, while Crumbs can just sit here and push down mid, and maybe we'll see a switch from Curse. And yes, they actually are moving. They are coming to this mid lane, can move top once again and take that inhibitor and continue pressuring Mono.
This is all a matter of timing, knowing when the minion waves will be available to push. But you know what? We do have a naked inhibitor up top. Is Curse just going to go for it? You're going to take out these creeps? They will. Cobalt are going to be up in front, tanking all the damage we need to. Night Jackie is here. We can engage. We got the bind here on Pixel. Mono's backing him up just a little bit. But you know what? Nice little diversion. We got Nintendo up front. We get in the Cleaver. Shirelia is being popped. The Curse is trying to get away. We got the Morgana ult. We got the Nocturne ult. Everyone's going to be where they need to be. Curse trying to do damage on Mono. Zig being caught out. Elements in the middle of everything, getting the ult down. Intended will fall as well. Zion Spartan trying to get away, but he will not. The Ignite going down. GA, Zion Spartan, he's got nowhere to go. You can't leave.
And Curse has them routed. Zig is perfectly fine, pretty high health, has that GA, but just can't get into the deal damage. Everyone from Curse very low, but will Elements and Cop turn into him? There's the dive from Cop, the slow from Zig, and now Zig chasing after Cop. How much damage can he do? How many people can he pick off? Actually picking up Morgana with that ultimate. He's got the movement speed from Pixel, but he doesn't want to continue pressuring with Shen, with Nocturne back there. So a one fight for Curse, but then Mono with the return, able to pick up a couple of kills and not allow Curse to take an advantage there.
My heart is just like skipping beats at this point. We're 50 minutes, 5-0 into this game. It's like, what else could you possibly buy? Look at Cop, 21K over the course of this game. That is insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is astounding, but we do see that Zig has caught up in his farm. He is almost equal to Vayne now, just a little bit behind, but if he can get those final few items, again, he can be a little bit more comfortable in these fights. And Paradoxical trying to get engaged, really because Mono recognizes they can't allow Curse to just slowly win the game against them, so trying to see if he can get back to Vayne. And actually, Zig just going all on his own for this Baron.
Oh,
once again, Curse has to realize, though, they are so close to them, they have to know. And here is Cobelter and Crumbs coming, and this could be huge. Paradoxical is there, but we have the ultimate from Crumbs. He is going to dive onto Cog, but now Cop is out of position, and Crumbs is going to go down. Paradoxical, can he get a snare? Chasing away Cobelter, and this is going to be a Baron for Mono. I don't know that Curse can defend this. So Baron, when Mono is already moving into that late game comp, is going to be huge, and it's going to be so difficult for Curse to continue applying the pressure that they have been.
We have a full minute before Crumbs is back in the game. If Mono wants to make a big push, they need to do it very soon. We still have some super minions pushing down the top lane. If they want to take some towers, if they want to take some objectives, now is the opportunity. Minions in the mid will be going down soon, but hopefully we get someone from Mono to go back to base, because we have these super minions going towards the Nexus towers very soon. But second tier tower in mid going down. Mono continuing the push. Please don't tell me Mono's trying to race the super minions. I hope that isn't the case.
I think while they have that Baron, they want to go after this inhibitor, take it down really quickly. Night Jackie actually getting caught, and Night Jackie goes down almost immediately. This is huge. Cop is caught out of position, will dive back into him. There's the GA. Elements throwing off the ultimate, but Mono is going to win this fight. Elements going down, and there is Zig picking up Cop, and Mono is going to win the game. They're going to get the inhibitor. They're going to be able to push underneath these towers. They have the 5v3 advantage, and with Zig, they have it. And Mono winning game number 2 puts the series to 1-1. We will go into game number 3. Mono with the GG, able to take it from Curse, even though Curse was ahead 20k gold at one point in time. The
What is going on?
insane.
What is going on? Oh my God! What?
This is the atmosphere. This is the atmosphere that we have at IPL4. Everyone going insane. We have StarCraft right behind us in their room, and guess what? They all hear us. They hear this thunderous applause, and they're going, what the hell is in that other room overpowering us? Well, it's League of Legends, and we have some fantastic games here. IPL4, and we are coming into game number 3, Mono versus Curse.
That was... There's so much sensory overload going on right now. We have the thunder sticks, we have the fog everywhere. We have amazing games, and we're going to game 3.
We are going to game 3, so we're actually going to go to a commercial. Stay tuned, because right when we come back, game 3, IPL4, Curse versus Mono in the losers bracket.
This is IPL4.
trophies, right? All right, everybody get them out and follow me. Let's make them here at the StarCraft stage! Woo! All right! I've always wanted to do that. Thank you for making my dream come true. So, coming up next is round 3. It is an elimination round, so you guys definitely want to stick around to see this. I am awakened. You guys are so much fun. You guys are amazing. This is so much fun. I'm so happy to be here. All right, so Red Baron, Hat Person, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
It is time for you to take over.
It is. You know, I think everyone has awakened with these things. Like, I don't think even Dyrus can sleep through this.
It's honestly the teams. It's funny. You look at football training. You look at training camp. They have massive speakers all around them to play the ambient noise of the crowd. They're like, "Hey, you got to get used to it." I feel like we need to get that audio going. Teams, when they're practicing, they're just going to have this thunderous noise in their headset, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?" Oh, that's right. It's training for IPL.
So we have everyone in the room just about ready to go. I'm still reeling from that last match, but you know what? Real quick, can we any bands that we might be seeing going into game number 3?
Well, game number 3, we do see that Mono is set up on the left side. They will have that first pick advantage, so once again, they can pick up Kog'Maw. What's been the best pick of this tournament? Kog'Maw. So is Curse going to decide to stick with a similar kind of team comp, take that early game advantage, or will they just ban Kog'Maw? Will they risk that late game presence? And it's interesting. You saw Curse. They were able to almost win that game. It was so close. Cop with some fantastic play, but just it became too late in the game. Mono just too tanky. They had that presence from Cog. So it'll be interesting to see whether that sticks around. Mundo as a jungler though is one of the strongest junglers. He becomes such a powerful tank as the game progresses. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that gone as well. Ari on Paradoxical wasn't really able to get involved in the game early, but as the game progressed, we saw some fantastic play in those fights.
And once you see games going that late, 45-minute mark, 50-minute mark, any team fight that can win you the game. But you know what? Let's go throw it to Christina right real quick again.
You're up. You're good.
Hey everybody. Remember how much fun we had banging our thunder sticks together, making so much noise? Well, it's too loud and the teams can't communicate with each other. Okay. So, if we can refrain from using them as much as possible, or even doing mini ones like golf claps. Yeah, but unfortunately, we are really good at making it so loud that the teams can't communicate. And I'm sure that we want them to, because communication is important. Yes, it is. All right, so just to reiterate, please be softer using your thunder sticks. Sound good? All right. See you guys soon.
I was having, as we were getting to the end of that last game, it got to, it was like, I'm not even hearing my own voice for a second there. I thought, have I gone deaf?
I actually turned to you for a second. I was like, well, let me lip read casting. So,
Yeah.
oh, what is he saying right now? Oh, that's interesting. Let me come back to the game. But yeah, it should be fun. We will be in this game shortly. And, once again, we've seen fantastic play from both of these teams. Mono with the really aggressive, counter ganking in the early game. We saw Curse trying to be aggressive. Nintendo all over the map, following Nocturne, has that kind of awareness, that kind of presence. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Curse can, take that advantage in this game.
So we have everyone in the game. We should be launching it shortly. But once again, we've talked about the bans. Kog'Maw might be a good choice this time around, but we are in. We will see where we're going to go from here. And Mono, first ban out. Galio, same as game number 2. Do not want that huge taunt to deal with. Cassiopeia, once again, same ban, same first ban from game 1 and 2. We may see Curse sticking with the 3 same bans, just sticking to their guns. Galio, Karthus, Cassiopeia, Olaf, very targeted bans for all the games, but Mono banning out Ahri, actually the same thing they just decided to play this past game.
So I think the thing is, maybe they thought that Curse would first pick Ahri, recognizing they want to keep it out of Paradoxical's hands, and if that's the case, Curse already knows that they have a really strong early game team. Ahri can help snowball that game even further, and Mono doesn't want that to happen, but the Galio ban definitely makes sense. Galio is very strong against those AP champions. He shuts down champions like Ahri. She has the true damage, but even so, his shield just makes him so tanky. He has that spam ability where he can aggressively push the lane, force your mid champion to just sit in lane, and then when the fights happen, a lot of these short range mid champions, Galio just comes in and ults, automatically wins you the fights, has that map presence, so they definitely don't want to allow that.
So we still have to think of some champions they may be leaving open. We may be seeing Shen left open again. We may be seeing Kog'Maw left open once again. But also we have the Alistar ban coming in last for Mono.
Yeah, I mean, Alistar is definitely a favorite of Curse. It makes sense to ban him every single game because Curse, they like roaming elements with that Alistar. We've seen them do kind of the similar thing that M5 was known for, which is Gangplank or Urgot. Any number of champions, you can send them in that bot lane. You have a manaless jungler like Mundo, like Shyvana. You give them blue buff, send them bot lane, have a roaming support. And then Alistar is a roaming support. He's just so aggressive at getting kills. They know they want to pressure the early game. Alistar ganking mid lane is just one of the most devastating things ever. You're like, I just don't understand what's going on. Where is my life, taking me? Because Alistar, he just flashes over your Wraith Wall, headbutt pulverize you to the enemy, mid lane, and it's such an aggressive gank. It's so hard to deal with. So they definitely don't want to have to deal with elements roaming.
And Mono, they were dealing with this firsthand during our third place match, and the roaming Alistar just completely shut them down. And just, nice little reminder for everyone, we did have our third place match not too long ago. Curse 2-0'd.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And in one of those games, they ran that strategy. They had, I think, Gangplank, instead of a top lane Gangplank, they sent him bottom, gave him the blue buff, and then ran a roaming Alistar, sent their AD carry top, because yes. AD carries, against a melee, yes, you've got that range harass. And then if you have someone like Corki against someone like an ability power champion like Vladimir, that's really aggressive too. We saw V8 earlier against Epic. They had Corki, against that Vladimir in that top lane, just completely shutting him down. That was actually game 1, I realized. That's we didn't see that, but off on the side, just a really aggressive lane.
So I mean, Mono looking to stick with the same bans they had game number 2. Galio, pretty powerful. Alistar, they've experienced that before. Karthus, where does Karthus come into play? What makes him a good ban?
Karthus as a champion, he's really strong against short-range champions. He's really strong against melee comps. You don't have any, strong CC. You have the wall, though. And against short-range champions, you throw off the wall. The entire team now is forced to clump because they've got their movement speed slowed, and Karthus has that AoE damage. And then a lot of low health teams, you have tanky teams that expect to win the fight with just barely any health. Mundo gets very low, but he has the regen. Then you couple that with a Karthus ultimate on top. All of a sudden, you win these fights. He's got the range where he can farm mid lane very safely against aggressive casters. He can just sit there, use his long range to his benefit. He's got a lot of damage for Dragon and Baron. That's another big thing with Karthus. You can just instantly take Dragon or Baron when you have Karthus because it's stationary. You get those easy Qs, get a ton of damage out.
All right, so it is the Ahri ban third, so it looks like the Alistar was a bit of a misclick. So we'll see the last ban, Kog'Maw being banned out by Curse. It's about time.
And so there you go. They know that, Mono had the first pick. They didn't want to allow that Kog'Maw. It really turned the game in the end. And here it is. Elements is going to be getting Alistar, and we'll have to see how effective it can be in this game. But Curse, definitely an extremely aggressive team at times, and that's going to be tough, particularly with Ryze. Ryze, as he levels up, as he gets items, he becomes extremely tanky. He becomes very difficult to gank. He's very strong in that mid lane. But you've got Nijaki with Elements, and if Elements is roaming Alistar, he headbutt pulverizes Paradoxical into a snare from Morgana. Those are quick kills against Ryze, and if you get those quick kills early, then you can really shut him down. Ryze does have the snare to help himself out, but Alistar's just too fast. His headbutt is about the same range, maybe even longer than the snare. It's about the same range, though, so he will get it off.
And not to mention, Alistar, a champ on his own, very versatile. I mean, he could roam. He's very capable of roaming. But if he can get a bot lane with Sivir, that's a kill lane right there. Now Mono's trolling us a little bit. That'd be nice. That would be nice.
The Corki pick makes sense. I think the crowd would go insane with the Evelynn, but Corki definitely makes sense. It is a very strong champion. They might have gone with an Urgot pick, and it's kind of interesting. Corki definitely scales a little bit better, has the early game nukes, so can take control of the lane. But now I wouldn't be surprised to see Curse take Urgot because he's extremely strong and is going to put a lot of presence in that lane. And we have seen that Zig likes Urgot, though at the same time, if you can't get the pulls that you want, like in Game 1, then Urgot all of a sudden becomes a weaker champion.
I would not be surprised if we actually see a Vayne pick later on, because Cop did do pretty good work last game with Vayne. But we have Leona here. Curse did pretty good last game with Vayne, and you know what? Leona, Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, they really have a lot of options.
Can we get that? I wouldn't mind that. I would like that if we get some team action going on.
I'd be kind of surprised. I mean, we could see it. Tristana definitely makes sense as a pick, has the range. Vayne, because of the short range, you're running right into Corki's AoE. You're running into Phosphorus Bomb, which gives that blind. You're running into the Gatling gun. Corki can just burst you down, and that's a real concern when you don't have a heal on your support like Leona. But coupling Leona, you do want to couple Leona with an aggressive DPS, and so if they can pick up, Janna in particular, Corki has the Valkyrie to get out of there, but if we get the stun from Elements, so we got Jungle Alistar, I just realized, but if we have the stun from Elements onto Janna in particular, Tristana has a lot of burst damage early on. He's got the jump, he's got his E. At level 6, Tristana actually has close to 1,000 burst damage when you couple in the fact that Tristana can throw auto attacks while in the air, can throw auto attacks after using the Buster Shot, knocking you back. So it's going to be interesting. The Alistar is going to be so aggressive, and we are going to have Alistar all over the map. It's going to be such aggressive ganks. It's going to be tough for Mono to deal with.
I love how Mono is just kind of playing to the audience here. It's the potential pace. Sivir would be nice. I wouldn't mind some Sivir, but Riven and Nidalee. I'm liking that.
Wow, so Nidalee is going to be the pick, and we have seen Nintendo playing Riven throughout this tournament. It is a strong champion of his. He has that kind of chasing down capability against a champion like Vladimir. Riven has so much mobility, can get in those aggressive ganks, but the concern is what are they going to do about Alistar? And Nidalee, can sustain in the lane top. It'll be interesting to see what kind of team they have. I mean, they have that kind of poke team with Corki, but he does run out of bombs late. Nidalee does have that poke. But Vladimir will be able to farm in that top lane, and Nidalee early is vulnerable to aggressive gankers. And Crumbs on Alistar is going to be ganking starting level 2, almost certainly.
Now I'm looking at Curse's full lineup here. Vladimir will be the last pick. But I'm looking at Curse's front line. We got Alistar, we got Leona, we got Vladimir. We got champions here who get very tanky. We got a lot of health on them. And Mono, they had Mundo last game out there playing the point, but Ryze is a little bit tanky. Riven can get tanky if she wants to. We got some heals from Nidalee. I'm thinking Mono might be trying to go for the early game here, just to be a little bit aggressive. I don't want to see another 50-minute game. That's just me.
Well, Nidalee, is naturally going to push the game back a little bit. You want to get Nidalee to full effectiveness. You need to get those ability power items to chunk people with those spears, and then just slowly wear them down under the turrets. Ryze and Corki as a combo, we've got lots of burst damage, lots of single target DPS. So it'll be interesting to see if we can pick someone off on mono and then retreat with Janna. On the other hand, Curse has a full-on AoE team. They're looking to pick up kills quickly.
Yep.
I mean, we might see some, fantastic Mario action with Cop. He's just going to be bouncing all over the battlefield as they pick up all these kills in their AoE, and they're looking to, just take control of the game very early with it.
Yeah, if we're getting Mario action from Cop, it's unfortunate that Mono didn't go Rammus then, get that King Rammus skin. That would have been nice and fun. But we're loading up into the game. The spectator delay is just starting. So yeah, we will have a jungle Alistar, and you know what? We may see some bad nightmares coming back for Mono. A little bit of what they had during our third place match. And hopefully they've learned a little bit from their experience a few weeks ago. They know how to counteract Alistar roaming through. And just good ward placement. If we can see some good ward placement from Mono at various choke points, they'll be able to see Alistar coming. They can go ahead and prevent all of those incredibly painful pulverized headbutts.
And once again, we see Pixel running that Clairvoyance, wants to keep track of Alistar, but you're absolutely right. Starting at level 1, very beginning of the game, they need to get wards in the river to watch for where Alistar's coming, because it's going to be extremely aggressive. We might even see an invade from Curse, because the Morgana Alistar combo into a stun